Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is a pick a card reading based off of the Alana Fairchild Kali Oracle. This is not a regular pick a card. This is more of a deck review slash sort of unboxing, although it's not an unboxing and it's not a flip through. Essentially, this is more for people who are considering buying the deck and they want to know the way the guidebook reads. So I asked Kalima for 3 cards for the collective. Of course, if you're considering buying the deck, you would listen to all 3 cards. However, it's best to use your intuition and pick out which card is calling to you particularly. And then when that card message comes up, pay close attention and see what message Kali has for you and how it applies to your life currently. So there are timestamps in the description. And I'm going to be reading directly from the guidebook. So this is just an example. As you can see here, it's a small black and white photo of the card, the name of the card, a short summary in italics, then it goes on. Alana writes a lot. This is actually my first deck by her, and she's notorious for writing a lot. So you have all that. Then you have an invocation ritual, which she is infamous for as well, and I'll be reading all that as well, and that end part there. So just so you're able to follow along audibly, I will say the word summary to precede this italicized part. I will say full-length description to describe all that part. Then I will say invocation ritual, of course, when I'm reading that part. Then I will say ritual appendix when I'm reading this part. Okay, so from left to right, you have 3 piles. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 3 cards, not 3 piles. Pause the video if you need some more time to choose your card, if you're someone who just wants to listen to your reading only and not all 3. But I will get started with card number 1. Mahakali, card 16. Card summary. Her magnificence steadies the anxious mind and reassures the heart of the empowering grace that arises through trust in her. Attempting to fathom the wisdom behind the workings of the Divine Mother would be like trying to cram the entire ocean into a teacup. Such wisdom is vast, and our perspective is limited, yet we don't need to understand divine will to benefit from it. Better to allow her creativity, resourcefulness, and unlimited vision to take effect in our lives, bringing us every grace necessary for our blessed fulfillment. Full-length description. First of the 10 wisdom goddesses, or Mahavidyas, is the 10-armed Mahakali. She is laden with her sacred weapons. Many arms and weapons symbolize the capacity of the Divine Mother to work beyond human limitations. The contrast is not intended to diminish the dignity of our humanity. Humans have a tremendous capacity for heroism, kindness, love, grace, and generosity. Rather, it is an encouragement to engage with the divine with perfect trust in our hearts. Multiple weapons represent multiple creative powers to conquer multiple issues. More than 2 arms indicate that divine workings are not limited by our human perspectives or capacities. This is reassuring. The divine can accomplish works beyond what would be possible through human effort alone. Mahakali means Great Kali. She is known as a guardian of the cosmic order, the one who selects the timing for all unfoldment. Nothing can be accomplished without the necessary preparation, and not before it is the right time for it. Such process and timing are determined according to higher wisdom, capable of assessing and meeting the spiritual needs of all beings simultaneously. We cannot know what the order of events must be to accomplish the Divine Mother's purpose. In hindsight, we may attain glimpses of her unfolding genius, but to live in harmony with her requires us to trust in what is unfolding and to work with that, even when events seem to be going against us or we cannot see the way to succeed. How do we proceed with such trust? There is no magic to it. It is a choice we make again and again. When we sense the next step is before us, we proceed. When we need to wait, we wait. We do not try to force, but we tune in to our hearts and sense what is guided in each moment. We allow ourselves to feel intimately known and connected with the divine as our ally. We recognize that a sequencing of certain events needs to happen. This enables lessons to be learned so we are ready at every stage for what needs to come next. We are not being denied or blocked, we are being loved. It is protective compassion that prevents us from seeing anything other than the next 1 or 2 steps ahead. To know more is not always helpful, although if specific knowledge would support us on our path, then we can be sure it will come to us. When will that happen? Mahakali reminds us it will be at the best time. It may be after we have acknowledged there is a problem we need to resolve, or when we have created some mental space so an essential understanding is not lost in psychological clutter. If you have ever felt like you have your best insights after a shower or after you switch off during a yoga class or exercise session, then you have experienced how much easier it is to access inner guidance when you switch off and empty the mind. Be here now and attend to what you can attend to now, leaving all else until the right moment is upon you. Your heart shall instinctively know that moment without needing to be told. All that is happening now is growing you toward that moment. All that has happened before has grown you into capacity for this moment. This is as it is. In Mahakali's beautiful wisdom dance as she wields the weapons needed to provide the right conditions, the right endings, the right beginnings within which the soul can flourish. Trust that what is happening now will give way to a new expression when the time is right. This will be when your readiness matches the requirements for success, and when those who can benefit from your increasing soul awakening have awoken sufficiently also. Attend to your work with determination and hope in your heart. Trust that the divine is taking care of everything else. Invocation ritual. Say the following prayer aloud if possible. Mahakali, Adi, Shakti, Queen of Cosmic Order, I bow to your wisdom. I humbly acknowledge that the closest I can come to understanding your workings is to show reverence for the mysteries of life. And so I love and accept who I have been, who I am now, and trust in the continued unfolding of my being under your skillful care. I open to the blessing of the needed thing, the needed task, the necessary knowledge, and your sublime generous grace. I summon the courage within my heart and the trust in your love for me, and I proceed for the spiritual benefit of all beings. May all beings know your loving presence and embrace their divine destinies as prescribed by your wisdom-bearing heart. Jai Mahakali. Ritual Appendix. Be seated or stand comfortably. You can now honor the 10-armed Mahakali with the following mudra dance. Start with both hands in prayer above your head. Inhale, exhale. Move both hands apart above your head, as if receiving abundant blessings from the heavens. Inhale, exhale. Extend both arms out to either side of you, palms facing outward, fingertips facing up. Inhale, exhale. Extend both arms facing downward, as if blessings are dripping from your hands, palms facing forward, fingertips extending down. Inhale, exhale. Place both hands in prayer before your heart. Inhale, exhale. Pause for a moment. Honor her presence within you and in all lives. Within your heart, choose to trust in divine timing. You have completed your sacred ritual. Card 2. Kali Mahamaya, number 4. Card summary. Kali Mahamaya is Kali Ma, the spiritual truth beneath all appearances, the healing waiting to be discovered in all experiences. In harmony with your higher self, she manifests the path upon which you can best learn, heal, and grow. She is unclothed, symbolizing wild, unconditioned authenticity. She is the empowerment to discard conditioning and judgments that we have worn. Cast off the fearful constraints others have imposed upon you. Connecting to your authentic being will attract healing, guidance, and divine grace to you now. Full-length description. Kali Mahamaya knows the life circumstances that will best evoke your sacred fulfillment, from gentle blessings to heart-stretching challenges that bring out courage and confidence you never knew you had. She weaves the circumstances into being that will cause you to grow, awaken, and fulfill your divine potential. Through her carefully chosen life lessons, the heart becomes spiritually prepared to dispense with mainstream consciousness. The soul begins to move away from the limitations and absence of personal responsibility that accompanies mass conditioning. The inner spiritual eye flutters open, and new realities open up. Her appearance signifies that mass consciousness and mainstream interpretations of events cannot support your soul path. It is only through looking for the deeper spiritual purpose within a life lesson that you will cut through the confusion to obtain clarity and attract all you need to heal and transform the situation at hand. Listen to your heart rather than allowing conventional beliefs to create fear in your mind. Kali Mahamaya arises spontaneously as a protective bearer of universal truth when a situation has become unnecessarily complicated or confusing to your heart. The truth she awakens may provide immediate relief, or it may not be easy to accept at first. Either way, you are promised revelations that shall ultimately lead you beyond deception or beyond what is simply not right for you. She protects you from that which is unworthy of your heart and has constrained your spirit. Even though Kali recognizes it is going to create a disconnection from the authentic needs and inner purpose of the soul, if we are on a path that merely seems promising on the surface, she evokes the situations to devastate the established order. Thus, she realigns us to the better path. This is her act of radical love, to unfetter our minds and clear our perception. With the correct knowledge, we gain the capacity to proceed with wisdom. She will not allow you to be misled. If you have wandered from your path, she will firmly reestablish you on the way to best help, heal, empower, and liberate you with joy. So when your plans suddenly seem thwarted, we need to ask whether we require more courage and growth to rise above the obstacle. Alternatively, we may need to step away from our initial plans and be open to a different path. We can discern authentic spiritual guidance from its effect. It brings a sense of relief even when the path ahead seems challenging. Acting on true guidance causes us to grow even when it opens a gentler and more graceful path. Misinterpreting guidance reinforces our ego patterns and keeps us stuck. Kali Mahamaya exists and operates beyond convention and convenience. She is the inoculating tonic of authenticity. Authenticity keeps us dialed into our true purpose and passion. She protects the soul from conventionality that castrates, disables, and steals our creative fire. She is the divine disruption that provides needed, yet often unanticipated spiritual recalibration. When our minds are so confused that we do not even sense the troubles that threaten to consume us, she arises from the ocean of consciousness with compassionate veracity. When we stray from our authentic nature, she brings us back to the spiritual home of the heart. She reminds us that we are the most powerful and protected when we seek the truth of the heart, because that is when we are closest to her. Dispense with the need to placate others or control situations. She has arisen and can be trusted unconditionally. Take refuge in her and allow your life to unfold as it will, acting when you feel guided to, having patience in the unfolding events, and trusting that her grace is unlimited. She is watching over the deep healing that is taking place within your soul. Invocation Ritual. Say the following prayer. Beloved Kali Mahamaya, you create the pathways for spiritual growth that benefit the soul. I honor your unconditional, wild, and loving nature. You provide what is needed to truly heal and outgrow suffering. May your compassionate wisdom and divine protection bless all hearts with the capacity to recognize and act with wisdom. I open myself to receive your guidance and revelation, and I give myself time and patience to integrate, regroup, and adjust my course. I trust in the greater guiding wisdom of your play in my life, for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Jai Ma Kali. Ritual Appendix. You can now visualize, imagine, or intend that a heavy pink lotus flower rests within the palm of each hand. You may sense and feel the weight of these flowers in your hands. Perhaps their muddy, damp roots are encoiled and hanging heavily between your fingers. The lotus in your right hand represents your divinely given power to act. The lotus in your left hand represents the divine grace needed to make those actions the best and most beautiful possible. Slowly guide your hands together, visualizing, imagining, or intending that these two lotuses intermingle and become one, held gently before your heart. This new lotus then dissolves into radiant golden light and floods into your heart with blessings of the Divine Mother. Rest for a moment in this golden grace. Then bring your hands into prayer, bowing your head. You have completed your ritual healing process. Card 3. Bhairavi Yogini. Number 21. Card Summary. Sublime Bhairavi, fierce with sacred rage, cannot be deceived nor deterred. She is unflinching, fearless, and determined. She causes that which is unworthy of the soul to flee and secures divine protection for the authentic soul path. Her presence empowers our hearts to face our fears and signifies that we are ready to overcome anything that has held us back. She gives the power to fulfill our heart's desires and reminds us to embrace our unique path with confidence. Full card description. The sixth of the Mahavidya wisdom goddess is Bhairavi. She is the wrathful emanation of Kali Ma and the conqueror of fear. Her name means both formidable and terrifying. Why would we be afraid of our beloved Divine Mother? We can recognize that she is fearsome in the sense of divine magnificence and inspiring awe. Like a force of nature, powerful enough to rattle our inflated sense of entitlement and invincibility, she becomes something we can revere because we recognize, with relief, a power so much greater than the small-minded workings of ego. We can dedicate ourselves to alleviating the suffering we see in the world, if that is what motivates our hearts. Yet, we can also take refuge from becoming disheartened by the extent of our task because we recognize divine greatness and capacity. The entitled mind of a young soul may misinterpret such magnificence as an excuse for apathy. This is why she must be fearsome to such minds. The fear of God is necessary to trigger inner growth until the love of God is enough to motivate our hearts. Bhairavi is divine wrath. She demands that we meet our potential. There is no playing small when she arises in a reading. Her appearance manifests to give us a necessary reminder to step up to our spiritual game. Your commitment to the spiritual practices that suit you at this time is strongly encouraged. There are divine forces that will more than match your efforts, and a great deal of progress can be made in a relatively short time frame. If you apply yourself to a task, your progress will unfold more rapidly than you expect. You can accomplish even intimidating prospects if you harness your courage and commit to the process. To encourage such dedication, she dangles a divine carrot. If we step up, her power can become our power of protection, and she will share her other divine powers with us too. She is also known as Sati Bhairavi, the granter of spiritual abilities, powers, and attainments. She brings out the best in us and conquers the threats to our fulfillment. Her appearance in a reading augurs potential for tremendous accomplishment. Although she may seem downright frightening in what she asks of us, as we often find liberating from our fears by moving right through them, she is beneficent. She is the light of sacred fire and higher awarenesses, or tijas in Sanskrit. This is the light which provides clarity, the capacity for discernment. Without access to that light, the ego misinterprets guidance to suit its own ends and creates confusion. Her light helps us see and overcome the self-sabotage of ego and instead tune into genuine wisdom, even if it is not what we want to hear. Genuine wisdom brings peace, relief, and clarity. It creates forward movement on our authentic path. By its effect, it can be known. The warmth of the fire also presents the capacity to be cooked, transformed, ripened, and brought to complete fruition. The soul is the substance undergoing exposure to Divine Mother's alchemical heat. Hers is the promise that we shall not only dream, but do, and so we shall become what we were born to be. When Bhairavi arises, we are asked to embrace our true passions and allow them to burn and purify us from within. The Tantras teach that Bhairavi incites every form of passion and teaches the power to control them. This is why she is a yogini, a female adept that knows how to unleash and yet guide the wild energies of our being for sacred, passionate purpose. Bhairavi is considered to be the latent energies that exist within the Muladhara, or base chakra. This is the foundation upon which the body, earthly life, and soul purpose arise in the world. She takes the divine energy from an idea and gives it the capacity to become embodied, to take form. Bhairavi pulls the rug out from beneath us when we are ready for a more powerful connection with truth. She helps us to ground ourselves within our authentic spiritual nature, rather than on the shaky ground of ever-fluctuating external circumstances. It is from this spiritually stable place that we can move from strength to strength, secure in her love and protection, as we manifest our passionate purpose. Recognize your inner divine badass and commit to your dreams with conviction. Invocation Ritual. Say the following prayer. Yogini Queen Bhairavi, uniting spirit and form, bringing sacred inner desires to material fruition for the spiritual benefit of all beings. I bow with respect. You who are Bharavi, wrathful mother conquering fear and confusion, manifesting the power of Kali, blocking the workings of black magic and the ill effects of planetary forces, offering protection from curses and cure against delusion. You bring boons, blessings, abundance, and empowerment for the fulfillment of desires and the increase of comfort. Remedy against disease and despair, you are restoration. All this you accomplish to manifest spiritual enlightenment for all beings. I let go of my fear and open my arms to your love for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Jai Ma Kali Bharavi, Jai Ma Kali. Ritual Appendix. Be seated comfortably. Gaze at the image of the card, especially the blood red symbol for the base chakra on the front of the skull. Rest your hands one on top of the other, palms facing upward. Your right hand can rest in your left hand. This is the mudra, or hand posture of Bharavi, the posture to rest, to overcome fear and ego, and to receive great benefit. Rest here for as long as you wish. Repeat the following mantra as many times as feels best, singing, chanting, or whispering. Imagine, feel, or pretend the sound is generating sacred divine presence in your heart, as well as a shining ruby red light to nourish, awaken, and protect all things. You can sense the sound and light radiating in all directions and through all dimensions. Let your heart and voice be soft as you do this, so as not to unduly frighten or disturb any being not wishing to receive such a blessing. Let it be a surrendered offering from the sweetest, kindest center of your heart. Jai Ma Kali. When you are ready, bring your hands into prayer position at your heart. You have completed your sacred ritual of invocation.